Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me. Today I have a fun tutorial to share with you on how to make handled bag toppers. Perfect for your holiday giving or everyday giving. You want to begin with a couple pieces of pattern paper measuring 4 inches by 6 inches, and you'll need the Paper Cherry Ink front and center number 1 or the number 2 die. I'm actually working with the front and center number 2 die. I'll take the pattern paper and place it in the center of the die. And using a Post-it note torn into 2 pieces, I'll place it on either side of the pattern paper. This will ensure that everything stays put when I run it through my die cutting machine. With the correct die cutting sandwich made, I'll run it through my Cuttlebug a few times back and forth to ensure a nice clean cut. When complete, I will carefully remove the Post-it notes. It gets super sticky after running it through the machine. So there you have it, your first handle. You want to repeat these steps to create a second handle. It would also be fun at this point to go ahead and cut up your pattern papers and just create a few handles to have ahead of time. It's also fun to use different pattern paper handles, one pattern paper for the front and another pattern paper for the back. As far as bags, there are a number of options. In my crafting stash, I have a glassine bag, some coffee bags. When you're working with the coffee bags, you want to be mindful of the window here. You can use the bottom portion of the handle to cover the window, and it may be necessary to trim the top of the bag. And paper sacks, either white or craft. Most of us already have some on hand. I'm going to work with the glassine bag for my project today. So I'll go ahead and fold down the top edge twice. This will give me a nice short flap to work with. To begin, take the front flap and you'll want to adhere double-sided sticky tape. I prefer to work with score tape, but I'm out of score tape, so I've actually had to use this. It's kind of like a utility double-sided sticky tape. It's super thick, kind of hard to work with, but it's all I had. I just want to note that the top strip of adhesive I carefully placed at the top edge of the handle opening, and the bottom and the side adhesive, they're in from the edge about 1/2 inch. This just kind of makes room for the bag to buckle and not to affect the handle too much. Now the top and the side adhesive, I've completely removed the backing and left the other two intact. This just kind of makes it a bit easier when I'm trying to precisely place the handle. And then on the remaining 2 adhesive backings, I folded the corners so that they're easy to just pull right off. Onto the back side. You'll need to take note of the flap when you work on the back side. You'll need to be mindful of where you place the top strip of adhesive. You don't want to place it where the flap's going to go, because you still want to open the bag with the handle on. So just eyeball it and place it sort of below where you think the flap will be. Again, I'll fold the corner of this little strip of adhesive and keep it in place. Now when I place this, I'm lining it up with the handle holes of the first place. Of the first piece. Okay, with the back flap adhered like so, you're still able to open the bag and access the insides. Okay, with the handles in place, I'm going to punch a couple holes to slide my ribbon through. I'm actually using a 1/4 inch hole punch here since I'm using wider ribbon. If you were working with twine, I would suggest using a smaller hole punch, like a 1/8 inch. Okay, now to embellish the front. I'm working with a Fillable Frames number 4 die cut piece from white cardstock. And I'm going to work with the smallest flower image in the Year of Flowers Poinsettia stamp set by Paper Tray Ink. I'm going to ink it up in some pure poppy ink. So I plan to trim off the top edge of this frame, so I'm keeping that in mind when I'm placing my stamped image. And next I'll be working with a sentiment from the Snowflake Flurries stamp set, also by Paper Tray Ink. And I'll ink that in true black ink. Okay, so I've gone ahead and trimmed off the top portion of the frame, and I'm going to adhere it into place with some dimensional adhesive. Once that's in place, you can go ahead and fill your bag. And fold down the top of the bag. And then to finish it off, you'll want to run some ribbon through the holes and finish it off with a pretty bow. Once in place, I'm going to trim off the ribbon edges here. There you have it, pretty packaging for the upcoming holidays or for any occasion. I thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.